1905 to 1909, the nationalist movement. So here it is. Several famines killed 90 lakh persons between 1896 and 1900. Bubonic plagues affects large areas of Deccan. Why militant nationalism grew this time? Recognition of the true nature of British rule, taking away all the existing right. Okay. Then growth of confidence and self-respect, growth of education and unemployment, international influences, reaction to increasing westernization, dissatisfaction with achievement of moderates, their three P's philosophy like prayer, petition, and protest, and reactionary policies of Curzon, existence of militant school of thought, uh, Maratha in English and Kesari in Marathi newspapers. Okay, a trained leadership had emerged. So, very first, we are going to talk about the partition of Bengal in 1905. 20th July, Lord Curzon issued an order dividing the province of Bengal into two parts, Eastern Bengal and Assam. Eastern Bengal is Muslim majority area and Assam is Hindu majority area. Reason? Bengal was too big to be efficiently administered by a single provincial government. So that's why they divided the Bengal. Why? Because Bengal is nerve center of Indian nationalism. They partitioned on the basis of language and the basis of religion. On 7th August 1905, boycott resolution in massive meeting held in the Calcutta town hall, the formal proclamation of Swadeshi movement was made. Protest done by national mourning, okay, hartal in Calcutta. Rabindranath Tagore composed Amar Sonar Bangla, which became national anthem by Bangladesh in 1971. Bande Matram became national song of Bengalis. A ceremony of Raksha Bandhan was done. Hindu and Muslim tied the Rakhi on the another wrists. The Swadeshi and boycott mass meetings were held, use of Indian goods and boycott of British goods, public burning of foreign cloth, shops selling foreign clothes were picketed, then emphasis placed on self-reliance or Atma Shakti, fostering indigenous industrial and other enterprises, many textile mills, soap, match factories, handloom weaving concerns, then national bank and insurance companies opened. So, flowering nationalist poetry, prose, and journalism, national educational institutions were literary, technological, physical education was imparted, were opened in by nationalists. So it is very much clear that everything is not boycotted. Something was opened also for the welfare of people. A national college with Arbindo Ghosh as principal was started in Calcutta. Then boycott of Manchester clothes and Liverpool salt. Boycott of government schools and colleges, government services, courts, legislative councils, municipalities, government titles, etc. Students took an active part in the Swadeshi agitation. Their grant in aid and other privileges were to be withdrawn. Active participation of women also concerned. Many prominent Muslims joined the Swadeshi movement, including Abdul Rasul, the famous barrister, and Liaquat Hussain. Okay, then INC meeting in 1905 under the presidency of Gokhale resolved to some 2 points are there: condemn the partition and reactionary policies of Curzon, and second point is support the anti-partition and Swadeshi movement of Bengal. Congress session held at Kolkata 1906 under the presidency of Dadabhai Naoroji where it was declared that the goal of INC was self-government or Swaraj. Government crushed the nationalist movement by signing of by singing of Bande Matram band. Public meetings were restricted. Laws controlling the press were enacted. Many students were even awarded corporal punishments. Lala Lajpat Rai and Ajit Singh had been deported. Tilak was again arrested and 6 year imprisonment done. So, militant nationalists wanted to extend the Swadeshi and boycott movement from Bengal to the rest of the country. but the moderates wanted to confine the boycott movement to the Bengal only, and even there to limit it to the boycott of foreign goods only. To placate the moderates nationalists, it announced constitutional concessions through the Indian Councils Act of 1909, which are known as Morley Minto Reform of 1909. In 1911, the government also announced the annulment of a partition of Bengal. Western and Eastern Bengals were to be reunited, while a new province consisting of Bihar and Orissa was to be created. Difference between moderates and extremists. Moderates were social base, zamindar and upper middle class. In the side of extremists, educated middle and lower middle people. Ideological inspired by European history, moderates, okay, but extremists inspired by the own Indian culture, tradition, heritage, and history. Moderates were loyal to British crown, but extremists believed that the British crown was unworthy. Moderates limited to middle class intelligentsia, but extremists immense faith in the capacity of masses. Moderates demanded constitutional reforms, but extremists demanded Swaraj. Moderates insisted on the use of constitutional methods. Instead of this, extremists use extra constitutional methods like and passive resistance. Now, revolutionary activity before World War One. 1906, Yugantar, the revolutionary weekly started by Anushilan, or you can say Barindra K. Ghosh and Bhupendranath Datta. 1912 bomb thrown at Viceroy hardened by Ras Bihari Bose and Sachin Sanyal. In 1890, Tilak's attempts to propagate militancy among the youth through Shivaji and Ganpati festivals and his generals Kesari and Maratha. In 1897, Chapkar brothers killed Rond, the play commissioner of Pune, and lieutenant and late arrest. I think Lieutenant Governor, arrest. 1899, Mitra Mela, a secret society organized by Savarkar and his brothers. 1909, District Magistrate of Nasik Jackson killed. Punjab, revolutionary activities by Lala Lajpat Rai and Ajit Singh. 1904, V.D. Savarkar had organized the Abhinav Bharat, a secret society of revolutionaries. 3 newspapers, Sandhya, Yugantar and Kal was published. Yugantar was published in 1906, as I have already told. Abroad in 1905, what done? Shamaji Krishna Varma set up Indian Home Rule Society and India House and brought out General the Socialist in London. 1909, Madan Lal Dhingra murdered cousin while Madame Bikaji Kama operated from Paris and Geneva and brought out General Vande Matram. So Vande Matram is a general which is brought out Madame Bikaji. Okay, by Madame Bikaji. Morley Minto reform of 1909. So what are the key points of this Morley Minto reform? To placate the moderate nationalist, it announced constitutional concessions through the Indian Council Act of 1909, which are known as Morley Minto Reform of 1909. Separate electorates introduced for Muslims. Elected non-officials to be elected indirectly. Thus, elections introduced for the first time. In Morley Minto Reform 1909, very first election were introduced. One Indian to be one on a Viceroy's executive council, aimed at dividing the nationalist rank and at rallying the moderates and the Muslims to the government side. Number of elected members in impartial and provincial legislative council increased. It was reality a part of policy of dividing Hindus and Muslims, maintaining British supremacy in India. Revolutionary activity during World War One. In North America, the Gadar was organized by Lala Hardayal, Ramchandra, Bhavan Singh and Kartar Singh. Gadar one, our religion was patriotism. It's a statement of Gadar unity, that our religion was patriotism. In 1913, it was formed. Okay, Gadar was formed in 1930, and one declaration was very famous: to stir up rebellion in India, pay death. Prize is martyrdom, and pension is liberty. Field of battle is India. This is the, you can say, advertisement is there. Okay, from Gadar. In this program, assassinate officials, publish revolutionary literature, work among Indian troops abroad, and raise funds, bring about a simultaneously revolt in all colonies of Britain, attempt to bring about an armed revolt in India on February 21, 1915, amidst favorable conditions created by the outbreak of World War One. The Komata Maru incident were done. The plan foiled due to treachery. Most members are Punjabi, Sikh, peasants, and ex-soldiers. Home Rule League movement. World War One led to increased misery among the poorer class of Indians. For them, the war had meant heavy taxation and soaring price of the daily necessities of life. Two Home Rule Leagues were started in 1915 and 16. First one in under Lokmanya Tilak in 1916, and second one was created by Annie Besant and S. Subramaniam Iyer. So Lokmanya Tilak gave a slogan, "Home rule is my birthright and I will have it." Operated in Maharashtra, Karnataka, central provinces, and has 6 branches. But when we talk about any Besant's Home Rule League, that has 200 branches joined by moderates congressmen. What is the aim of these two Home Rule Leagues? These aims has that to convey to the common man the concept of home rule or self government. Factors favoring the movement: need being felt for popular pressure to attain concessions. Okay, then disillusionment with parliament reforms, wartime miseries, public ready to protest, Tilak Besant ready to assume leadership. Methods used: organizing discussions, reading rooms, propaganda through public meetings, newspapers, pamphlets, posters, etc. Positive gains: emphasis shifted to the masses permanently. Organizational link established between town and country, prepared a generation of ardent nationalists, influenced moderate extremist reunion at Lucknow 1916. Lucknow session of INC 1916, the two wings of INC reunited, Congress and All India Muslim League ML. Extremists readmitted to Congress. League Congress put up joint demands under the Lucknow Pact. Congress accepted League's position on separate electorates. Annie Besant and Tilak had made vigorous effort for this reunion. Why Muslim League shifted its position? Because of 4 reasons. Very first, Britain's refusal to help Turkey. Second one, annulment of partition of Bengal in 1911. Third one, the refusal of British government to set up University of Aligarh, and fourth one is Maulana Azad's Al Hilal and Muhammad Ali's comrade face separation, while Ali brothers Muhammad Azad and Hashrat Mohani faced interment. Negative fallout: Congress and Muslim League came together as separate political entities. Second, you can say evolution of the two nation theory by Muslim League and efforts to bring together the masses of these religions or communities were not considered. Positive gains: to alloy minorities fears of majority domination, large amount of enthusiasm generated by this reunion. Even the government decided to placate the nationalist by declaring its intention to grant self-government to Indians as contained in Montague's August 1917 declaration. So this much is all about